All right, everybody. Did you guys get a chance to go through and look at those questions and think about some of your own experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts before we get going?
Not really.
No? Okay, that's fine. Well, let's just give you guys a couple of minutes to think about, just to refresh it. So we're talking about just like substance abuse, divorce, family issues, work and home balance, and same-sex relationships, and then like workplace dating and relationships in the workplace. Thinking about like those different issues that you've experienced in your own work settings that you can share.
So we're just thinking about it right now?
Yeah, just like,
Okay.
pick one in particular to think
Okay,
of.
yeah, I have.
And if you have one, yeah, just let me know and we'll go through and we'll start sharing
I have mine.
thoughts together.
Yeah, I'm good whenever.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, Anya, do you want to go first then?
Sure. Mine's some very last. Workplace dating and relationships. It's kind of funny as well. It was like my own personal soap opera. So, so I started working at this retirement house, and this lady was training me, and she has like 30 some tattoos, piercings in every place, like everything's covered. And then so it gets better. So she is dating a guy that works for the same company, but the guy is married. Yeah, like
trouble.
okay, there's a whole drama, yes. And then like at lunchtime they would be there would be so much drama, and they would always be talking about the wife, their relationship, and she slept with this guy's best friend. So I just at lunchtime, I mean nobody was a member of the church obviously, and I was the only one sitting there, like I have nothing to contribute to these conversations, and I would just sit there and listen to all of them, and it was really awkward, and I did not know how to communicate with them. They were so open, like about like how he's cheating on his wife and how she's cheating on him, and it was just hectic. It was not professional at all, and there were no secrets. It was very open and awkward. So yeah, it was like watching my own soap opera.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was very unprofessional and made me
That's a
feel
hard
so
situation to be in.
Yeah, I couldn't say anything because everybody were kind of crazy. Because my boss, the one that hired me, she would send me inappropriate messages, like they would get like a funny message and they would forward it to everybody, and just be very inappropriate. That would be sexual, something to do with sexuality, and so I don't know. I felt very uncomfortable in my workplace, like all the time.
Dang.
Yeah.
Jeez. Does anybody else have an example that's like kind of along those lines?
Not really.
Probably not that extreme, huh?
That's pretty extreme.
It's hard to beat. When I was working at the warehouse at the Pepsi plant, it was a rough crowd, and like a lot of those guys, same thing. They were really open, and quite a few of them, they drank and did just different things, and it wasn't nearly as I guess extreme as your examples, Anya, but I can totally relate though. And just like break time or lunch time, they're over there and they're just going off about everything, and I'm just over here. I'm getting ready to go on a mission, and I'm just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
eating my peanut butter jelly sandwich and keeping to myself. But yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, who else wants to go next?
I can go next. I was reading about the divorce. What was the case called? Divorce and family issues.
Mhm.
And I've worked with several, like, just with my jobs, like, one job that I remember was working at the hospital, and a lot of the ladies that I worked with were, like, divorced women who, like, had to come back to work to support themselves, and they were very bitter. And it was just like a situation where it's like everything, no one was happy, everyone was, like, mad, and so it was like work wasn't even fun because they're all just, like, bitter at the world kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So I think, and, like, they'd all just sit there and vent to each other, and so it's like when it says, like, don't be their therapist, like, they were all each other's therapists, so they'd all just sit there and in their little circle and gossip about how bad their husbands were and stuff. So it just wasn't a good environment to be in.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them, yeah.
And it's just funny. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny just to think like like when you're working with people, especially for like long term, 8 hours a day. You become close and you talk to each other and you ask for advice and stuff. And when you have people who are going through things like that, it's just I don't know if they both have divorce or that kind of a background. It's probably not a good thing. It just might just like fuel the fire or like
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not every time, but
They just like feed off of each other, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
I'll go next.
okay, cool.
I chose work and home balance. This is something I've had to learn, especially the last 12 weeks. This is more personal to me because I am working like a 40-hour job right now with a lot of responsibilities. And then with school on top of that, with like 5 classes, it gets a little hectic. And then running my side business gets even more hectic. And so coming home from work and having to do like my business things for the night and then spending time with my wife, it gets really hectic. Sometimes I don't know where to put my energy. And so I've learned through this past semester is that when I come home from work, like 4:30, I'll just clean my house, do what my wife wants me to do basically, so that we have a better home life between us two. And then I go do my homework, and then everything else is balanced pretty much. And so it just taught me that if we put family first, then everything else will align. So no matter how busy work gets or how many things are on my to-do list, if I just put my wife first, then there won't be any problems at home. So
Awesome. That's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you other married people have any input on that.
I
Well,
think that's
I agree with that, yeah. Because with Brandon, he chose a career where it would allow him, or a major right now, but he wants a future career that will allow him to spend as much time as possible with his family. Like, we're very family oriented.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think it's important, yeah.
That's hard.
especially while you're a student. I feel like like you have to work so you can go to school, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
family is just so important, and it's a priority. We have to make time for that.
Mhm.
Like you said, you make time for your family, everything else falls into place. You have you feel better, you have a better attitude, so you can work better, and you have the motivation to do your homework, and everything else just falls into line.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mine's kind of similar to Steven's.
Yeah.
When my husband and I first got married, like pretty much the first year of our marriage, he worked nights and I worked during the day. So when I was getting ready for work, he would come home from work, and then he would leave for work before I got home from work. So we really only saw each other on the weekends, and it kind of, like, now he has a normal schedule now, but it kind of made me think, like, I always want our schedules to be like this. I don't know. Like, I was looking for another job, and I applied for one, and they said, well, it would require you to work nights and weekends. And I was like, when would I ever see my husband? Or when would I ever, like,
Yeah.
do homework or anything? So, I mean, obviously I didn't take that job, but I think lots of workplaces just assume that you want to put, like, your full attention into the job, which when you're at work, I think that's important that you do. But I heard Jillian Michaels said a quote. She was like, I listen to her podcast sometimes. She said she wants her employees to constantly be thinking about their job. And I disagree with that because I think we need to be able to disconnect from that and, like you guys said, spend time with our families and do things that are, I mean, work is important, but I think spending time with family and, like, doing gospel-oriented things are definitely more important than work.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I agree with that, and I really like it because my husband and I, so we had the same problem. So when we work for the same company, but my shift is from 4 to midnight, and his was 8 to 4. And Sunday through Thursday, mine was Monday through Friday. So the only day we work together is Saturday.
Oh, man.
And he told them there's no way I could do that. Otherwise, I'm not going to work for the company. And so they switched him to the same shift as mine, but still Sunday through Thursday. Mine was still Monday through Friday. That sucked. But now this whole semester, it's been worse. But now that I'm graduating, I'm looking for a different job. But all jobs require me to be gone in the morning, and he works at night. And so I might stay with my job, except they will promote me. And so because I could choose the same schedule as my husband.
Oh,
So
nice.
it would be the best option. That's the only option I feel like right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a fan of my job, but I can 2 years. That's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't last forever.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll pay off, just like all these classes that we're all taking right now.
It's all worth it in the end.
At least let's hope so, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I agree, though, and especially with this topic, because I mean, like many of you guys going to school full time and I'm working full time, and then my wife and I, we just finished up the contract and like everything for a mortgage. We just got approved today.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
So I've been.
Awesome.
We don't have a realtor either, so I'm just like being a realtor on the side. So it's been fun, but I agree though it's important to juggle and just really make time for family and especially like our spouses and
Yeah.
it's just I can't even find words for it. I'm sorry. It's just.
Oh no, I'm going to start yawning now.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Sorry, you made me yawn. I know, hey Kayla, yawn.
I know.
I really like. Well, in Sweden, that's where I think it started. Having a 6-hour workday, and they noticed that people are more productive. They make fewer mistakes, and they're more energetic. And how we read the article here, talking about how the employees can make their own hours, and she noticed that they were more productive, and the ones that weren't, she just fired them, But the turnover was 95%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, fewer. Oh my gosh, not turnover, but retainment.
Yeah.
Retainment, yeah. But I feel like people are more productive when they work less and they get more work done. Because you have time for work and family, and you still have energy to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish everyone did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is that Michaela, did you share? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did the divorce case.
That's right. Okay, so we're all good there.
Mhm.
Let's. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Okay. So we kind of went over this, but how these like different experiences that we shared, how do they impact like the workplace and like employees around, like other employees?
Well, I think if you have a good work-home balance, then you'll be happier at work, and you'll be motivating to all the employees that work for you. You'll be motivating to do your job so that you perform well.
Yeah.
I think the opposite goes too. Like if you have someone who's always complaining about their work life or work family balance being out of whack, then they kind of bring the rest of the team down. Because I know I work with a couple people like that, and it always gets me thinking, yeah, I wish I could be home more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it puts thoughts in your head that aren't there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of like what we were saying with Michaela, some of those women who complain about their husbands, it just kind of fuels the fire, like it creates thoughts in other people around them. Like it's not always a good thing. Most of the time, probably isn't.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It kind of. I don't know. The whole situation in my work just made me feel really awkward and corrupted me in a way. So a workplace can corrupt you sometimes. No.
Okay.
I had something else to say, but I forgot what it
Oh,
was.
you're good. Okay, and then if issues like this arose in the workplace, how would you address the issue? What would you guys do to just kind of move past that or to help whoever's struggling with that?
I like the suggestions it gave, like refer them to some, if there's like a program, do that, or like don't always be someone that they can come to vent to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stay professional.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Good. Any other thoughts?
Go to the management, see what suggestions they have for you as well. How maybe you can address them when when the discussion is happening, or like if you feel uncomfortable, just how you can mention it to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's see. All right, so now it says, I guess this is like the longer part of our discussion. So it says, when everyone is ready, ask the first person to tell about experiences they have chosen. After the person tells about their experience and how they think it would impact the workplace, ask other students to respond. I'm not exactly sure what that's asking. Does anybody else have that pulled up?
I think that's kind of what we just did,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like repeating itself. But then it has
Yeah.
questions underneath that say, do they agree? Have they seen some? Okay. So I think we all agree with our reasons of how they impact the workplace.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen any? Have any of you seen any similar experiences in your workplace in comparison to like Anya's or Amy's or?
Well, I know I work with this lady. She works in the office probably like 200 feet from my desk, and she has an unstable home life. I think, is divorced or not even married and has 2 kids. And I guess it's really messy because every now and then I'll hear her on the phone just going at it with either the children's father or something.
Really?
Yeah, I think she has a rough home life, and it affects her work because she's so tired some mornings, or she's so stressed out some days, probably because of her rough home life, crap going on. So that would be hard to deal with, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure it affects her more than some others of us that have like a mild, stable home life. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I have something like that. So for this company, the company I'm working for now, so there's a guy. He's been divorced. He married this girl who's been divorced as well, but um, he is super stressed out all the time because every decision he ever has to make, like food to buy for himself to bring to work, or if he can fill up and ask them what station at, he has to call her and she has to tell him exactly where to get things or if he can do it or not. And so,
Wow.
and my
Jeez.
husband was calling to see if he could fill in a shift, and in the background he could hear his wife yelling back, "No, you're not going to do that shift." Like, and then at work, he had to lie to work because she called him at work, told him he had to come home now. She threatened him, and so he had to lie to work, and he's like, my daughter's alone by herself at home because my wife just left her because I didn't come home earlier enough. Like things like that. No, I've never seen or have heard anything like it. I just feel really sad.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
feel bad
Yeah.
for him.
Like she is so controlling. Like he has to ask her to fill up gas. You know, it's like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
he had to drive across town to a different gas station because she didn't like that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
So that affects his whole work. That affects everything in their marriage.
Mhm.
So right now at my work at the credit union, like last week was pretty busy. Just like payroll stuff, getting people coming with their checks, and the machine that we use to print checks off went down for a day, and it was just like a madhouse. We usually don't print off very many, but like the one day it went out, everybody wanted one. So that was just chaos.
Oh
And
my
my
gosh.
manager, I guess at her home, like her one son, he's a ninth grader, but he's playing on like the high school baseball team, and he was invited to go to California with them to like these tournaments. And he's her oldest, but she's like really protective. And she was stressed out, and she ended up buying like plane tickets to go out there and like just kind of like watch and go with them. But it's just like last minute, so she was super stressed, and because of that, like she turned a somewhat stressful day at work into like an even bigger stressful day because she was going through all these things at home.
Oh yeah.
And all of us, we felt bad, but we just wanted to, just like step back and give her space. But
Yeah.
it's hard to just not think about those things when you're at work, but sometimes you just have to. That way it doesn't affect anybody else, or you're able to do your job right.
Mhm.
It's almost like you have to forget about your personal life when you're at work.
Yeah.
And it really does affect you. Like,
Yep. Because like if you're just thinking about what's on your mind, or if you're just distracted with what's going on at home, you'll make mistakes. You're not working as efficiently and
Yeah.
productive. Any other examples along those lines?
I think we're good.
Okay, cool. I know we've like all pretty much shared everything, and I
Yeah.
wanted us to go for like 45 minutes on this topic, but I'm fine with cutting it short. So.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as like the wrap-up goes, it says, ask what other issues students see in society that are likely to impact the workplace of the future. That's a pretty good question. What do you guys think? As far as like what's going on now, what do you think could potentially be an issue that could occur in the workplace?
I think our generation has become more lazy than the older generations because of technology,
Yeah.
because of Google. I mean, everything has sort of changed our generation into like a quick easy answers, you know? And maybe we're a little bit more lazy and we don't want to go out and work. For example, at the construction company I work at, the superintendent over all the laborers is worried because there's not enough young people that want to go labor and lay concrete all day for 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
And I mean, he's older. He's like in his 50s, and I mean, he won't be around for 40 more years, you know. But he's concerned that there just won't be enough workers, and so it's going to be an interesting dynamic of what happens in the next 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
Because potentially I could still be with the company in accounting, but with no laborers, then you're not going
How
to
can you
do
get
any
in?
work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's interesting.
That is really interesting.
Really interesting.
Even on my mission in South Korea, like traditionally, it was just all farmers. Like years ago, like not even that long ago, but just like World War, like the Korean War when we were over there, like the Americans, it was just rice fields. There wasn't really any big cities that were like industrialized. But now, if you go over there, it's just completely different country. There's like 66-story buildings, and everybody is just competing because there's not a lot of land. So they go to school and they want to get good jobs. And same thing, there's fewer and fewer workers or like laborers. And you'd probably see that trend all around the globe. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that.
But in all reality, I think we'll still have laborers available because there will still be that lower class that can't. I mean, they won't go to school to try and hop classes. It's hard if you're in a lower class system to go to middle class or upper middle class,
Yeah.
just because of the lack of resources, the lack of money. It
Mhm.
takes money to make money. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think people don't know how to balance their lives. They are either workaholics and they may not do their jobs well or anything, but they just work just to pay for their stuff, And there are people who are just lazy, taking advantage of our tax dollars. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Points.
yeah.
I think another issue could be with like same-sex marriages. I mean, that could potentially go to like dating in the workplace, kind of like we talked about, or like people who are married who are working together. And I think, I mean, obviously it affects us because of what we believe, and so I think that could be kind of an issue and maybe make things a little awkward.
Yeah.
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 Good stuff. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it. So, let's see. I think there might be one more question, though. Let's see. And it's really similar to the last two. It says, think about the workplace. Think how the workplace will change in the next 10 years. So, besides those issues that we talked about, what other things do you think will happen in the workplace just in upcoming years?
Well, depending on who wins presidency.
There's
That's
a lot at stake just on that.
true.
Yeah. I liked the reading about, what was it? When employers make room for work-life balance, how that lady said that a lot of her employees worked from home or they picked their own hours. I think that might be a more common thing in the future,
Yeah.
just with technology and stuff like that.
Well, a lot of jobs you can do at home,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in the office.
Very true.
Yeah, it's nice being able to just work in your pajamas and send things, fax, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
paperwork stuff you can do from home. Sorry, Anya, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say except for the jobs where you actually have to be there, because
Yeah, like
most of
yours.
my jobs have been like taking care of elderly, like hospice and all that,
Yeah.
or I'm working with people with disabilities. Like I have to be at the job. I wish I could work from home, just do
Yeah.
chores, or, you know. But yeah, there are jobs that where it will be impossible to do from home, but most jobs are
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
going to be transitioning probably to that.
Yeah.
We've already seen this change too, but we see more jobs diminishing because of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like um, conveyor belts, is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of it. But anyways, like my grandpa, he's a dental technician. He's the one that like makes the crowns and stuff for like when you get like a replacement, like a tooth. And now a lot of that work is just moved to like China. And they have like little robots that make those, or like conveyor belt that makes those things. So
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff is just switched over.
Maybe that's why it took 2 weeks to get my crown.
Came in from China. Hopefully there's no lead paint on there.
Yeah, right.
Also, did you guys hear Carlos Jr., the guy who like is a head person, I guess? He wants to replace employees with robots, in the kitchen.
Oh.
That's the future he wants. Yeah, I heard it somewhere. So.
Well, I know in Spain when I was there for my mission, they had a McDonald's with self-serve kiosks. So you order your food at a kiosk, and then you pay for it at the kiosk, and then it prints out at the chef's table, and then or the line cook, then makes your food and calls out your number. So that eliminates the person of having to take your order.
Yeah.
I think that would happen a lot more often in the future.
Yeah.
That's even happened here just this last year when they had those riots. They wanted to raise the minimum wage. They're like, okay, we'll raise it, but we can't pay for this many employees, so they switched over to the kiosk. And got rid of
Oh.
I
an
remember
employee,
that.
yeah, or a couple employees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like,
And I also think Amazon has hit the retail market like crazy because people can shop in their pajamas. They don't have to go anywhere, and it's
Yeah.
delivered to your door 2 days later.
Right.
I mean,
By a drone.
yeah, or buy a drone the same day. Oh,
Yep.
it's interesting.
crazy stuff.
I know it's that.
Mm.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. That's as far as it says to go. So I think, unless any of you guys have any other thoughts, we're good to close.